Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you are having a fantastic one out there. Thank you so much for clicking on the video, stopping and coming on by, and hopefully here to have a good time. Today we are listening to the Rolling Stones. We're going to listen to their track Wild Horses. This is off of their album Sticky Fingers, which was released in 1971. Quite a few of you had suggested this particular track, such as Murad. Kevin Strikey, you mentioned, actually you didn't mention this when you mentioned Gino Vanelli's I suppose, version of Wild Horses. John Paul Filkins and Frugal Severin had also mentioned this track, however, in relation to the Sundays cover of this particular track. And that's kind of what's leading us here, because we're going to listen to the Sundays version and cover of this song shortly as well after this video comes up, because that was suggested and sponsored by Music Addict. So Music Addict, thank you for that particular support over there on that video. And I figured before listening to the Sundays version, I should probably, familiarize myself with the original. So that's what we're going to do right now. Listen to the original. The Rolling Stones have sometimes blocked music, so I figured instead of putting both of them in that video, I'll kind of separate them a little bit just in case this does get blocked. That way it's not like the video has one blocked song and one unblocked song. Let's just kind of keep them separate. So if this does get blocked, you know where to find it. Otherwise, let's go ahead and dive on into it. We'll discuss a little bit after. Wild Horses, here we go.
Slide through my hands.
I think that was not only just a sensational song on its own right, but I think that what makes it, besides a lot of things, but what makes it is the guitar playing, which is just so sentimental. It feels sensitive with its very emotional guitar playing in here. That's courtesy, of course, of Keith Richards and Mick Taylor, which kind of interesting when I'm looking at the personnel and, of course, what they're playing and such. Mick Taylor, it specifies that he's playing Nashville strung acoustic guitar. Never heard of that, but when I hover over it on Wikipedia, or when I click on it, it says it refers to the practice of replacing the wound E, A, D, and G strings on a 6-string guitar with lighter gauge strings to allow an octave higher than standard. This is usually achieved by using one string from each of the 6 courses of a 12-string set, using the higher string for those courses tuned in octaves. So I'm not going to lie, I'm not a guitarist. I don't have the faintest idea of things when it comes to guitar, but I do think that it is kind of interesting, like the switching around to get a different kind of sound, to get that higher octave. Because in here, you can clearly hear that higher sound when it comes to the picking, which it almost kind of sounds in my untrained ears towards the sound of like a harmonic, but not quite. But I really like how it's used here to add, to me, like an extra kick of emotions and feelings into the guitar playing, which the music already rhythmically and embodies that particular sway of things, which I think is really, really lovely. Jagger sings here with affection and with longing, and I like how, it just all feels like a gentle swell and stir of feelings. That's what I hear when I listen to this track. There's no crazy changes, nothing, out of nowhere besides the way that Charlie comes in with the drums. I really like how that happens, because it's not like predictable. There's a quick little fill right before, but before you know it, it comes in. It's like hearing the shot before lights out. And I just think that that's really nice how that comes in. It's unpredictable, but it feels so satisfying. The little guitar solo we kind of get in there is also a delight to listen to. And I feel like this whole track has a perfect country blues-esque emotional direction to it. And it's very, very enjoyable to listen to. And I like to hear this side of Rolling Stones in what they do. Let's go ahead and look at these lyrics here. Childhood living is easy to do. The things you wanted, I bought them for you. Graceless lady, you know who I am. You know I can't let you slide through my hands. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. I'll watch you suffer a dull aching pain. Now you decide to show me the same. No sweeping exits or offstage lines could make me feel bitter or treat you unkind. Like nothing you could do or nothing that could be done to me will make me feel any sort of bitterness towards you, or treat you differently, to treat you in a negative sense. And, he says that he can't let this person slide through his hands. So even wild horses couldn't take me away from you. I know I dreamed you. Like if he was on a wild horse, this is how I envision it. If he was on a wild horse, that horse is going. There's no stopping it. But even that couldn't take him away. I know I dreamed you a sin and a lie. I have my freedom, but I don't have much time. Faith has been broken. Tears must be cried. Let's do some living after we die. I like that line. Like, I know I dreamed you a sin and a lie. I have my freedom, but I don't have much time. Like, he knows that he's also wronged this person, perhaps. Faith has been broken. Tears must be cried. Let's do some. Like, now, unfortunately, now I don't have much time with you. I would like to spend more. And yes, tears must be cried. And then he says, let's do some living after we die. Let's look at the info on this track. It says it was first released in 1970 by the Flying Burrito Brothers, which is a hilarious name, as the Rolling Stones did not consider their demo of the songs to be worthy of fully recording. It was subsequently recorded by the Rolling Stones for their 71 album, Sticky Fingers, which they felt it was worth consideration. Rolling Stone ranked it number 3. That's fine. Let's see. Jagger states, I remember we sat around originally doing this with Graham Parsons, and I think his version came out slightly before ours. Everyone always says this was written about Mary Ann, but I don't think it was. That was all well over by then. But I was definitely very inside this piece emotionally. That's for sure. Who's Mary Ann? English singer who achieved popularity in the 60s with her... I'm assuming he was just in a relationship with her. I'm assuming that's what this is about. I'm assuming. Richard says, if there's a classic way of Mick and me working together, this is it. I had the riff and chorus line. Mick got stuck into the verses. Just like Satisfaction, Wild Horses was about the usual thing of not wanting to be on the road, being a million miles from where you want to be. So even those wild horses can't take you away. Let's see. Recorded over a 3-day period. The song was not released until over a year later due to legal wranglings from the band's former label. Legal wranglings. Now that's a word to use. Not discrepancies, not conflicts, not disruptions or wranglings. And of course, here's your chart information. Canada 11, US 28. And as we mentioned, we have the Sundays version, which we'll look into that shortly. Let me know what you guys thought of it, of course, in the comments down below. I hope that you had a wonderful time being here. Hope to see you again shortly as well, especially if you want to listen to the singles cover, or the Sundays cover, rather. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.